Again, my name's Gabe Zollner. There was another interesting little article that you may want to go listen to on Western Center for Journalism. And it has Mike Zullo, who's a guest on a radio station. And people were allowed to call in and ask Mike certain questions as to, his findings. And Mike tried to be as clear and concise as he possibly could be. And what people wanted to know is, well, why hasn't anything sort of been done yet? You have all this evidence that the document is a forgery. And Mike went into great detail to explain the dilemma that they had and the decision that Sheriff Joe made along with Mike, which is to not try to present it to the Attorney General in Arizona, which is what would be the first step. And the reason that is that if the Attorney General felt that there wasn't sufficient evidence to merit a conviction, then he wouldn't move forward with it. And then Mike said even if he felt that there was sufficient evidence, then it could be held up in a court for 2 or 3 years. And then it could be held up in a higher court for another 2 or 3 years. And then it could ultimately be given to the FBI. And with the Democrats in control of the White House, assuming that that's what happens in 2016, we can kiss anything that the FBI might find goodbye, because they're controlled by the Democrats. And right now you got the less than honorable Eric Holder, and the Democrats control the FBI, like they control everything else pretty much. But what Zullo said they intend to do is to circumvent any of those potential shortcomings and roadblocks. So what they want to do and what they intend to do is take it to Congress. Yeah, if you take it to Congress, and if Congress runs a thorough and complete investigation on all the evidence that the Cold Case Posse has brought together, well, it'll be, a done deal. Obama will be wearing bracelets and he'll be escorted out of the White House. The radio host had also asked Mike another question, and what he asked was that on the birth certificate that's posted on the White House website, it lists Barack, his daddy, as being African. Well, Mike explained that back in 1960, that wasn't a term that was even known, let alone used. And Mike said that he has 2 other birth certificates from black people that were born in 1960 from Hawaii, in Hawaii. They were born in Hawaii. And their birth certificates don't say African. The term that was used back then was Negro. And that's even in the documents that the Hawaiian Department of Health made reference to. If they were dark-skinned, they were called Negro. They weren't called African. The term African didn't really become something that people even knew about until the late 70s, early 80s. So, and this is a mistake, again, that I believe that Obama's forger made. He just assumed that that's what they were called back then. Well, you know what happens when you assume, huh? So anyway, I'm hoping that the strategy that Sheriff Joe and the strategy that Mike are following will produce the kind of fruits that we'd all like to see them produce, and that is have Obama arrested and dragged out of the White House in waist chains and handcuffs. Yeah. And every single thing that he put into law, every single thing that has his signature on it would be gone, which includes Obamacare. It also, I think, would include his vice president, since he selected Biden as his running mate. But anyway, we'll see. I'm just hopeful that it happens relatively soon, because every day that Obama remains in power, we end up further in debt, and we end up further in danger of beginning World War III. That's what I think. So what do you think? Let me know what you think.